Hi guys, welcome back to Fat Boys RC. How's it going out there in the real world? I ask that question every day, but no one answers. Someone tell me. Anyway, yesterday I went down to Medway RC Raceway. Bing! They've now introduced the Kamtec RC bagger racing, and it's mental. I must admit, it's absolutely mental. Rich and Joe down there are setting you up Kent's premier and only permanent RC track, and they're trying to bring you every different discipline they can. And they've now introduced bi-weekly on a Wednesday evening oval racing, banger racing, and mini racing. So get yourself down to Medway RC Raceway and join in, because literally this is nuts. Now, when I first saw these cars, I was looking at them, I was thinking, oh, they're a bit tough. And then after watching the racing, you can see why they're a bit tough, because it's mental. Anyway, Stuart down at Medway RC Raceway. Right, Stuart, as you go, he's lent me his banger to show to you. Now, I do Kamtec racing with the minis down there on a Thursday night, and this car is very similar to the mini, just a lot tougher. Now, if you look at it, first thing you'll notice is how thick these bodies are. They're really, really, really thick. And I love these because it's like a trip back down memory lane. Because if you went to the bangers when you were a kid, there was always the old motors that were out there getting bashed up. Like this is a Granada, look. It's a full Granada. They start off life like this. They're made of a thick ABS plastic so they can be bashed. Because they're bangers. They're going to hit each other. The idea is to smash each other to pieces. Now, they're going to be a bit of a difficult one to cut out. I've been recommended using like a Dremel type tool to cut round the arches and then to smooth off afterwards. You also have to cut out all the windows, but you are allowed to leave some meat inside the windows for strengthening these joists, and they're going to need it. So if you leave yourself, say, I don't know, 2 mil round there, you're going to have a nice top. This one is a Cortina Mark III estate. All of the premium motors here, love. Hey! There's things like Jags, there's things like Chevy Bel Airs, there's a Ford Capri if you really want a Ford Capri. I know I want a Ford Capri. But anyway, there is real variety of tops for this stuff. Now let's have a look at the car, shall we? This is the base model banger. Now some of you out there who are less than 10 years old will really not notice what this thing is on top. This is a manual speed controller, or as the electronics people say, a variable resistor. Basically, it's a slide arm mounted on top of a servo that allows the electricity to flow, decrease, increase. It's very basic, it's very manual, and it's very tough. Now, I'm presuming the reason it's in a banger is that it doesn't go bang. Okay, because electronic speed control is quite easy to damage, whereas these things are tough as old boots. Now, these kits, you can buy these straight from the raceway. So if you're at Medway RC Raceway, you can buy this kit over the counter, all right? They are 140 quid. Now that is pretty much everything you need to get going, right? You get the car, you get the motor, you get the speed controller, you get the servos to run the motor, you get the top, you get the blank mind because I'm old. Right, all you need to add to it is your radio gear, your receiver, and your battery, and of course your artistic flair and creativity. The way you put the top and it goes, oh, look at me, I'm all great, and then it lasts 5 minutes before someone smashes it up and you start crying. So let's have a look at this mini, shall we? Now, as I said, you get the servos. Now with these, unlike the modern radio control cars, there's 2 servos. One servo is mounted upright, pokes through the speed controller there. The speed controller is mounted on top of it, and then that controls your speed. Obviously, you've got the front mounted servo there, which is for the steering, of course. Now you may notice, if I hold this up like that, you've got a very strong 3mm alloy chassis there. It's aluminium alloy chassis, okay? You've got a brushed 21-turn K21 Kamtec motor in there. Now, all these things are in this car to make it a very even playing field. You know, so basically you've got the same motor, you've got the same battery, you've got the same servos, so all cars are even. It makes for very interesting racing. You really do want your cars to be even. As I stated in a previous video, we watched the truck racing down there the other night, and the truck racing was all even spec. It made much better racing because everyone was fighting against each other to get around the track. Okay, I go down on touring car night, and touring car night, we pretty much know some of the guys are going to win, some of the guys are going to be in the A final, and some of the guys are going to be D final. And we know that because we've all got different spec cars and we all race different and we all, you know. So basically, you're going to get an oval, you're going to get a car that's got basic power, and you're going to be flying round and round and round and round in your oval, knocking the absolute living out of each other. And it is great fun. I was wetting myself. It was so funny. Another thing you have on those, you've got the battery tray underneath here. We use a 4.8 volt NIM battery with these. Don't put a LiPo in them. Now, a LiPo in a banger is basically like throwing a hand grenade into the middle of a racetrack, because if a LiPo gets punctured or damaged, it could go bang, catch fire, and that sucker don't stop burning. It just keeps going. So we use 4.8 volt NIM battery. You can see in there, it's in this hard tray. Okay, that hard tray is supplied as part of the kit, held in by this little lug here. Battery cable comes through there. It's got a Dean's connector on the end of it, as standard on that one, pretty much because the controller comes with a Dean's connection on it. Right, so good, yeah? There is some basic suspension on these. Now, I didn't think there was any suspension on the bangers, but they basically share the rear pod that the minis have, and you have a front-mounted screw and two back-mounted screws that allows you to adjust the suspension so that you've got a bit of play there. Then you've got an up and down rod for that to travel up and down to create suspension. Your front wheels, you have a kingpin inside there with two clips and a spring. That gives you suspension on the front wheel. And this is great. It does make the handling a little bit better, but this whole race thing is not about handling. It's about fun. This is fun racing. It's a good way to get into it. The kids will love it, because the kids will love bashing everything up. It's just a brilliant way of getting into radio control. Anyway, I'll shut up now for a bit. Have a look at this video, right? I took some video of cars bashing about. Honestly, it's immense fun. I couldn't recommend stronger getting down to Medway RC Raceway, getting yourself a banger and getting going. They also sell all the parts down there, so when things do inevitably break, and things do break, but they break on every single radio control car out there, they've got them behind the counter for you. So you can go down there and have a good day's racing, fun, get a few batteries, bang, away you go. Right, watch this video, have a look at it, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, bye. What did you think of that then? Yeah, it's a nice oval track. Everyone just literally goes all out at each other. Who won the race? I don't know. Don't care. It was good fun. Everyone was bashing and smashing, and unlike most races, no one retired. So it was a brilliant laugh. Now I'll finish this video off, but I mean, let me know what you think. But it's great. Get down to the Medway RC Raceway. Support your local track. If you're not in the south of England, support your local track where you are. Get this hobby great again. I'll finish it off. I'll drop some video of the minis going around the oval next, doing a little bit of oval racing. So I hope you enjoy this. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers and goodbye.